That's it. Don't move. Ano ba? Bonjour. Bonjour. Uy, mataba ka na naman. Action. I love it. Hello and welcome to another episode of Adventures Behind Us. This time, it's a special episode mga kaibigan. What we'll do is, we're live from Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, and have a special guest. It's an international celebrity and star in his own right. Baka naman may kumontra kasi, huwag na natin kukontrahin na, kasi ako na nagsabi. Is Mr. Lope. Navo, Lope. Say hi. Kahit anong camera mag-hi ka, we're very relaxed. So then, mag-hi ka naman.
Hi.
Ay, shy. Kanina, dadan, ngayon naman tahimik. Anyway, one of the reasons na nandito si Lope as our guest for today is because, syempre, meron siyang nilabas sa Facebook ba o Twitter? Saan ba nauna? Facebook. And napakahaba. I actually photocopied everything and, you know, we'll not go into that yet, but I'm sure you guys are interested outside. Bakit of all people, I actually wanted an interview with Lope. Thing is, I am such a fan, and I won't hide that fact, and I've been following his career ever since. And I appreciate what he's done, kasi siya lang po yun na sa lahat ng mga international magazines na lumabas na ho yung kanyang mga pictures. Question mo na, sa mga taong hindi nakakilala sa'yo, how did you start? Alam ko hindi ka nag-start sa Pilipinas. So.
Well, I've been going back and forth in the Philippines, you know, like if there's like a magazine shoot or campaign. Pero originally, I started in Dubai as a photographer, technically.
Doon ka ba nag-aral? Paano ka napunta sa Dubai? What's the story?
Well, I studied in the Philippines. Pero my first job after college was in Singapore.
Really? Ano mo sa Singapore?
Graphic designer.
Okay, and then how many years ka sa Singapore?
Well, it did not last a year. I think it's like less than a year. Maybe like 8 months, and then I decided to accept a job in Dubai. So after Singapore, right away, Dubai.
So other than that, okay, moving forward, ano yung mga famous work that you're proud of now, to date? Kasi he's the only Filipino photographer who shot for Dior, correct?
Christian Dior.
For Christian Dior. See, first name Dior. Alam mo naman kilala ko siya. And then, ano pa yung mga famous campaigns that you've done?
Well, campaign-wise, I've been shooting for Mosimo for like forever.
So yung nakikita namin ng Mosimo dito sa mga mall sa iyo yung mga shots?
Yeah, I shoot them.
Siya pala yung kalabang ko. Next. Joke lang.
So, well, campaigns, well, I think those are like the top. I mean, I have some others, but it's like we decided I shot lookbooks for designers in Dubai, in New York,
calendars,
Wednesday magazines. I shot for the
mga magazines yan, magandang pagyabang niya because to date he's the only photographer who's done almost all the international magazines. Halika, lista na natin. Ano yung mga magazines mo? Le Officiel. For those who don't know what it is, Google nyo. Pangit, no? It's a French magazine na has now a franchise in, ano yung mga franchise niya? Thailand. Yeah,
Thailand, Turkey, Brazil.
Brazil is a fashion magazine.
India,
Japan.
Japan? Almost everywhere. Almost everywhere that there's Vogue, there is Le Officiel.
Naku, yan na naman yung issue mo na walang Vogue sa Pilipinas, pero we'll get to that na naman. And then, ano pa yung mga magazines na alam na? Have you done Vogue? Have you done Bazaar?
Well, I'm really proud of my Le Officiel works because they're like big editorials and big covers. I've done covers with Le Officiel. And then I shot Marlon Teixeira for Le Officiel Korea.
Teka. Marlon, ano siya?
Teixeira.
Mahirap spell. Marlon and then T-E-X-E-I-R-A. Siya po ang face of Giorgio Armani sa mall. So if you're going to, if you're curious kung sino siya, trust me, supermodel siya. Actually, for me, he's the second supermodel na lalaki after sino to? Si Marcus Schenkenberg. Okay, going back. Ganito yung main reason bakit may interview. Sa kanyang Facebook, in-scan ko pa, meron siyang ginawang statement, nawala yung date. But the first post was, nag-react ng halos na tao is 5 reasons Stephen Gunn excuse me, most successful, more relevant Filipino fashion abandoned this country for the following reasons. Ayoko magbasa. Basahin niyo sa post niya. Pero in a nutshell, one, no money, no taste. Number 2, no respect. Number 3, no dignity. Number 4, no pride. Number 5, no brains. Ayun lang, number 5 lang yan. Ito bang under the no money, is that your words or Stephen's words?
Those are my words.
Those are my words. One minute. So, no money, no taste. Philippines is the only third world.
I just mentioned Stephen there because I was thinking that day, why did Stephen Gan, the most influential, the most powerful guy, he's been in New York for a decade, he's been successful, he's been so powerful for a decade. He has no mention of the Philippines at all, even as a country, even as a creative population, you know, even if even as models, even as photographers, even as designers, even just the beach, you know, like even he has no mention of El Nido or Palawan. When every single magazine in the world, Wallpaper, GQ, has mentioned Palawan or El Nido or even Boracay. They mention it, like they said, like, oh, it's a sexy beach, oh, it's a very you know, like Angelina Jolie people mention it, but a Filipino like him, it's like there's an effort to actually shut it out. I don't know if it's like he's embarrassed, he wants to cut out all ties with the Philippines. So thinking of the title for that article, I'm just thinking like, so he's the most influential Filipino in fashion. He abandoned it, like it's like he don't care at all. So I just thought, what are the 5 things he could have think of?
And this is the one.
And those are the problems that I thought about.
So you presume na ito yung sinasabi ni Stephen about. Pero I won't go to Stephen kasi it's not fair na hindi natin alam kung ano talaga yung sinasabi.
Oh, yeah.
But may point ka to a fault na sinasabi mo na ang Pinoy, pag hindi sila proud sa sarili lang, that's why we love imported.
Yeah, it's all false pride. You see everywhere, like, I mean, you would see on your passport or on your SSS card or whatever, it says they're proud to be Filipino.
And yet,
I think it's all false pride, because if you're proud Filipino, look at the billboards in EDSA. What does a Filipino look like? Kayo manggi. I mean, right?
No, Korean. Mas maraming Korean in our
Kayo manggi. We're kayo manggi. I mean,
no, no, I'm sorry, but correct na kita doon. Ang tingin ng Pinoy, maputi sila. Kaya mas maraming whitening cream. So
but anyway, when you
look
at the ad campaigns, when you look at the most famous ad campaigns, when you look at the most famous brands that sells here, they're not Filipinos. I mean, we all wanted to look like white people. Yeah, so what's the pride in that?
So what you're talking about is false pride. Wherein sabi mo, we're proud to be Filipinos, pero nawawala yung kulay ng dark skin na original natin, nanggagaya tayo, ang peg natin parati is people from abroad, wala tayong sarili. I mean, I understand.
Yeah,
kasi,
I mean, just look at everything, like all our creative efforts. When I say creative efforts, photography, fashion design, architecture, everything, writing, everything. There is always that part na talagang kinopya lang siya. Like for example, if you see a collection in Paris na super famous, after a few months lalabas yan sa Philippines. Somebody copied it, like from head to toe they copied it, and they're gonna tell people na it's just an inspiration, and I thought about it before the designer did, which is kind of really childish and very, very, you know, like it's just humiliating na this has been the problem of Filipinos forever. Imitation.
Hindi ba, I grew up with that on the fact na Filipinos are the best imitators. So, and with imitation comes sabi natin, is the best form of compliment. Flattery, sorry. Imitation is the best form of flattery. So kung ako yung magbabasa ako ng ganito, Lope, I'm flattering and complimenting everybody else around the world. That's my strength as a Filipino.
Then don't claim that you are a visionary. Don't claim that you create things. Just tell people the truth that you copy. So it's much more honest, di ba? if you copy, tell people you copied it. Just admit it. Don't tell people that it came from you. The original, because the original is out there. It's not like it's gonna disappear. No, the original is going. Once you copied it, it's always going to be out there, and it's always gonna be more popular than what you did.
Siyempre, mas marami silang magazine doon, no?
The media coverage of the thing that you copied, it's with the Google, with everything. People always know that you copied something. So, I mean, if we are living in a country of copycats, just admit it and be proud of it that we are copying things. And at least be good. Yung alam mo yun?
Good at copying.
Oo, good at copying.
Ikaw doon na natin.
We make a better version of what we copied, you know, and then admit, I copied this.
And I'm better.
And I'm better.
Question. Ikaw na nagsabi ng comment ito. We are talking about dirt low rates in the Philippines. Sabi mo, mas mataas pa ang bayad ng isang pokpok sa New York kesa sa photographer sa Pilipinas. Bakit mo nasabi ko?
Well, this is me being reckless again. Okay. I don't judge people by their professions. I'm a friend of any people at all. I'm a friend of any race, any sexual orientation, any job profession. I don't judge people by their job descriptions. And I know some porn stars in New York who do prostitution, and I know how much they get paid. Literally, I'm not joking when I said that.
No, I'm sure you're not, because I know that, not from experience. I know what he's talking about. Pero ganun ba talaga kababa ang rates ng Pilipino?
Well, like I told you, I know I worked here like on and off in the Philippines. They get paid $800 to $1,000 or $1,500 for a campaign, a national campaign. A prostitute in New York could get paid more than that. Literally.
Oh, follow up nito. Campbell, I don't know if you know this guy. Do you know this guy?
Yeah. He's I don't know exactly who it is, but I think he's a follower. He's a follower. He's an editor of a magazine.
Wow.
He works in Korea and London. He's a London based.
Sabi niya sa akin, sabi mo sa post niya is that, you know what, I totally agree with you on the low rates. I had a massive argument with several people on just a few days ago. Editorial rates, advertising rates keep on going down for almost every person in the business. 80% of the problem are worthless photographers who work for less to nothing because they just want their name known. Comment on that.
Well, and this guy is London-based now. He's talking about...
Filipino ba to? Or
no, he's not Filipino at all. He's a foreigner.
So they have the same problem about so many
see, they love the post that I put there because it's actually for them. And it's not only happening here. It's all happening all over the world.
Okay,
but it's just worse here. Because the prices here is just going down, along with the dignity of every creative person.
I agree, kasi ngayon since
no, it's a big issue. It's not a small problem. I mean, piso tumpok na ang fashion photographer sa Pilipinas.
Aray.
Seriously.
Hindi po ako
I mean, it's already cheap to begin with, and younger photographers in the Philippines who just picked up a camera yesterday will tell you like, oh, I can shoot that for free. Why would you pay him? I can shoot it for free. So that is the situation of the fashion photography in the Philippines now. Isn't it funny?
Sabi mo, Nigel never shot any decent fashion magazine. Sorry, segue na to, pabilisan na to. Entire Banks never shot a high fashion brand. Alam mo, may point ka. So, bakit parang feeling ko rito, hindi mo type si Nigel Banks?
Okay. Nigel is a very good-looking man. You know, I like him as a good-looking man,
okay.
And that ends there. I think everything about him is a little overrated, and it's misleading a lot of Filipino on the concept of a fashion photographer. They think that he is
the best.
Yeah, as if he's like on the level of Terry Richardson, Stephen Klein, and people look up to him. I don't hate Tyra Banks or Nigel Parker. It's just that they're teaching Filipinos.
Wag naman sila kasi tayo nag-expose sa kanila. So,
yeah. But there are some elements Filipino elements here in
That
Manila
make them-
that brought the concept of Nigel Barker and
Tyra
Tyra
Banks.
Banks,
As
brought
the-
it home in the Philippines like an alien, you know, like in a spaceship. And hey, this is a supermodel, and hey, this is a fashion photographer. Well, it's not the reality. They are in the bottom of the barrel in New York. They're in the bottom of the barrel.
Di napansin ba sila?
And here, they're in the top of the barrel. Like, it's something to admire. It's something to copy.
So you're saying hindi sila ganun kagaling?
Well, I'm just saying that the standards are really dragged really low. I mean, if you want to learn from photographers and supermodels, Naomi Campbell shot so many Vogue covers. Tyra Banks have shot nothing. She never had a high fashion. I mean, she never shot for Prada or Louis Vuitton or any blue chip campaigns like Tyra Banks. Not like Naomi Campbell did. Tyra Banks, her biggest claim to fame is Victoria's Secret, Sports Illustrated, and America's Next Top Model. That's it. She never shot the campaigns that Naomi Campbell did, and as well as Nigel Barker. Nigel Barker never shot any high fashion brands. He never shot Louis Vuitton or even Marc Jacobs.
But he's a fashion photographer. So
he claims he's a fashion photographer for being a fashion photographer in a reality show.
Good point. Good point.
I don't understand what's your definition of a fashion photographer.
But
a fashion photographer.
That's my definition of a fashion photographer.
But and I don't care if they claim to be a fashion photographer as long as they don't become the standard, you know. And
it's
like you're misleading. It's misleading people. Correct?
Correct. Ayoko lang kumontra, pero wag muna ngayon. So one of the things you wrote dito, in the Philippine fashion, if there is such a thing, sabi mo, is composed of the snootiest, out-of-touch, delusional, I love your statement, snootiest, out-of-touch, delusional wannabes who have big mouths yet don't really understand their jobs. Filipinos believe wholeheartedly that America's Next Top Model is actually part of the fashion industry, and Nigel Barker is the photographer. What do you mean yung mga wannabes? Ito yung mga snooty wannabes. Are you talking people in general na nagpapasosyal? Sino yung natin dito? Other photographers, other models, ano mo dito?
Well, I don't know if I even have the right to compare fashion designers or editors.
Kahit nga celebrities, actually, may ano ko dito about the celebrities.
In the US, or the celebrities in the US, if I can compare them to what we have here.
Right.
Because from what I know, designers and photographers and models and actors and actresses abroad, US or Spain or Paris or London, they either went to school, like years of school, years of training, years of research. They have so much substance. They know exactly their jobs. It's not just at face value. It's not like a show. Like oh, a designer should act like this. I'm gonna act like a diva. I'm gonna walk around events and parties, and I'm gonna act like an editor. But when you look at the work, he copied the work.
Right.
Whether he's a writer and editor,
they
copied it. It's like, you know, and I don't know if other Filipinos can tell the difference, but I know exactly
kung saan galing.
And it's kind of it's really irritating to see it, because
I can see
they don't.
Nababother ka.
It's like so much bang, so much mouth, so much attitude for no work. They did not do all their work. They just copied it. They Googled it and copied it, and that makes them arrogant because they know where to Google than other Filipinos. I respect people's work more than people's, you know, what people wanted them to appear like. You know, it's their mask, you know, their image. I can see through people. Right. I know if you're a real artist. I know if I really need to respect you because you really are a hardworking person. You work really hard for where you are right now. And some of the people in Manila, they have good family names. They from a celebrity family names, They're from rich families. They have so much things going on in them that they got so ahead of other people, not because they're just talented or they really have creative.
Because the opportunity was given.
The opportunity was given to them, and they're so pompous. You know, they're so proud. They're so. It's not real. It's not. It's not. It's not organic. It's not organic. It's not something natural. The concept of high fashion is actually laughable because how can you, like what I said? There's no Valentino. There's no. I mean, it's not like we have like our own. We're making our own textile.
Because
you
the fashion
know?
basis.
Yeah. It's not like we're that. I mean. We're so caught up on like the Filipino high fashion. You see it in magazines. The photographers trying to be high fashion. The fashion designers trying to be high fashion. The editors trying to be high fashion. But there's no high fashion. And they try to do high fashion and commercial at the same time and act like they're like Anna Wintour. They have that attitude that they're Anna Wintour, but they're not. Because they're doing, how can you be Anna Wintour if you're trying to shoot Gloria Patis the next day? Or bagoong the next day. Anna Wintour will not do bagoong. So, where can you get the pride of doing bagoong and walk like Anna Wintour, you know, in a Philippine Fashion Week? I mean, if you're doing bagoong, admit that you're doing bagoong and swallow your pride, be humble. You know, it's not like you're walking in cloud 9 like you're Anna Wintour or Princess Diana. You know, because Princess Diana and Anna Wintour will not do bagoong. There are two Filipinos now in the creative industry. The Filipinos who knows their job and really they have substance, they're original. It is the kind of creatives that is the ideal. And they're not in the Philippines. They're living abroad. And they're not Filipinos almost because who are gaining from their creativity? It's the people abroad, not the Filipinos. Who are getting credit? The people abroad, not the Filipinos. And then the other side of the other Filipinos that I'm talking about are the Filipinos who stay here, and
that includes me.
That includes you. I mean, there are some in the forefront of the Philippine fashion who are actually fighting
for that kind of
creativity, but the people who are dominating, you know, the people who are in the top. When I say dominating, they're greater in numbers,
right.
They're greater in influence, right. They're greater in PR, in exposure. They are the ones who are dragging this entire Philippine fashion down the garbage dump. Literally. They don't have substance at all. They don't know their jobs. Because they're copying.
So at the end of the day, lahat na sinulat mo ay dahil dyan sa...
Exactly. Isn't that worth actually writing about?
You know what? As much as I want to continue, whether you agree with Lope or you agree with me or for anybody for that matter, everybody has the right to his or her own opinion. And like what you said, Facebook is your platform. It's personal. So doon mo sinulat, yun ang opinion mo. Then, kung ayaw niyong basahin, tama yung sinabi ng one of the ones who tweeted, if you don't like what you read, then don't read it. If you don't want to, gusto niyo makisali sa gulo ng comments, kung umabot na tayo ng 64 to 1,000 comments,
yes.
Swerte siya. Kasi,
I'm not shoving it into people's throat. Like I publish it in a blog or in Huffington Post. I could easily just. I mean, I was interviewed by Huffington Post.
But you never said that.
I did not say that.
Fairness to you,
I kept it to myself. I did not bring the Filipino down on my Huffington Post interview. I could just easily said that. But I still protected the Filipinos because I still respect them. But also, I want to respect the Filipinos that I want to actually flourish. The Filipinos that are deserving to flourish. And I put that sentiment on my Facebook because it's private. I want people who are my friends to read it.
You're not against the Filipino the way I see it now. You're actually more concerned the way how things are going.
It's more like it's bothered.
You're bothered? No, actually you're concerned. Because kung, alam mo, sabi mo na ito pag wala kang pakialam sa isang bagay, you don't even care what happens.
I don't care. Yeah, I'll do what Stephen
care.
I'll just do what Stephen did.
You actually care about the plight of what's happening, and that's the reason why you're commenting. So that explains a lot for you. Anyway, That's it. I cannot take any more of the time. Magpipictorial pa kami. So, this is the only episode na sinabi ko walang pictorial, but I just wanted to share his opinion because it actually makes so much point. It's just that some people are not brave enough. I'm not brave enough to say what he said. So, that I will admit. You take it from there. So, I hope you learned a lot because I did. And actually, I don't know what I did to you, but I hope, you know, I gave you the pleasure of actually explaining yourself.
Yeah, it's a pleasure that you gave me this opportunity to actually explain my side, because you are one of the few Filipinos that are worth, you know, like you actually respect.
Thank you.
You actually respect the situation. You know that you acknowledge that there is a problem, and the Filipinos are worth actually saving. You know, to put them in the right position, because
I agree.
you know.
Tama ka doon, tama.
And we all have to do our part in our own little way. You know, if we really care about something, we try. We try, and that's
what you're doing actually. Hindi mo lang alam. So don't misconstrue his language. His intention is better actually. Thank you, and I hope to see you again. Bye.